Today we'll be making patterns. Here's a pattern I already made. It's a train pattern. The pattern is blank, 2 yellow, 1, 2, 3 orange trains. The pattern continues and continues on the second line. So we've got again blank, 2 yellows, 1, 2, 3 orange trains. And that continues, and in the third line you'll notice that I've got some blanks. We're going to be finishing the pattern like the above pattern and filling up the blanks with the correct stamp. So let's go into rubber stamps. Go to page 21 and you'll notice where the train stamps are. So let's fill in the blanks together. Let's start right here. I've got a blank train, 2 yellows. The next step are 3 orange trains. So let's get our orange stamp. I've got 2 blanks and an orange stamp, and then the pattern continues for a bit. So I think it's like this. Blank, 2 yellow, 1, 2, 3 orange. Blank, yellow, I think another yellow goes there, and orange. There, we finished the pattern. But like always, before submitting anything, double check your work to make sure the pattern is correct, or else you might have a boo-boo. So let's go over it again. A blank train, 2 yellows, 3 orange. That's our pattern. So we got this correct. Blank train, 2 yellow trains. Seems we need 3 orange. Last one is an orange. Let's put in the correct stamp. There we go. A blank train, 2 yellows, 3 orange trains. Good job! We just corrected our mistake, and we made a pattern. Okay, so I already made a pattern for you. We filled in the blanks. Now, let's do all the steps together. We're going to make the pattern from scratch together, and then in the third row, we'll make some blanks so that we have to figure it out ourselves. So let's make a pattern. I'm not going to use trains this time. I'm going to use 2 horses and a fish. This pattern is going to be very simple. That's all it is. 2 horses, 1 fish. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So I'm going to continue that pattern until I run out of room. I can only fit 1 more horse. So I'll continue my second horse. It's the pattern called for 2 horses. I'm going to do another fish. 2 horses, fish, 2 horses, fish, 2 horses. Okay, so in the third row we're going to start making blanks and filling the other spaces with the stamp pattern. Now the first pattern I made was trains. It was a themed pattern. This one's just an animal pattern. You can consider it a theme, but the horses are land animals and the fish are underwater. So when you're making your pattern, that's your choice. You've got 23 pages of stamps. Choose what you'd like. We could have done a clown and a horse, some aliens and a fish, or go to a completely different page. Your choice. I'll stick with the horses and the fish. Now, go into Draw. Just grab the crayon, or the pencil actually, and make lines. So I think I'll make a blank right here, which, double checking, is going to be a fish. I'm going to make room for my other stamps. So I'm going to make room for just 1 before making another line. I'm going to make room for 2. This time I made 2 blanks. I'm going to make room for 1 stamp pattern. And I'm going to make 2 blanks again. Your choice of how you want to fill in the blanks, where you want to put them. Be creative. So let's go and find our pattern again. We were using horses and fish. There we go. So let's fill in the blanks. Okay, so now that we've finished our pattern and we have blanks, so this looks exactly like the train pattern, except we used horses and fishes and we made the blanks in different positions. Trade your computer with another classmate and have them solve your pattern while you solve their pattern. But for today's lesson, we'll just solve the pattern ourselves. So, the pattern starts with 2 horses and 1 fish, and continues on like that. We'll call this a simple pattern. So, let's get right here. I've got a fish, 2 horses. The next one should be a fish. So grab your fish stamp and punch it in. The pattern calls for 2 horses. I only have 1. There. Make sure you have enough room. We got a fish again, a horse. This should be where the horse is, and a fish. 1 horse, actually it's 2, and a fish. And we end the pattern with 1 horse because we ran out of room, but it should be 2 horses. So let's just do that to finish the pattern. Good, you just made a simple pattern, and you solved it. Let's double check before we say anything to make sure it's correct. Fish, 2 horses. Fish, 2 horses. Fish, 2 horses, and fish. Good, we filled in all the blanks correctly. Now we can work on a more difficult pattern. Okay, so I made you a pattern, and we made a pattern from scratch. Let's make another pattern from scratch, but let's make it more difficult. Our second pattern was 2 horses and a fish. We only used 2 stamps, so it was very simple. This time, I'm going to use 4 different stamps. Remember, even though you're using 4 different stamps, it doesn't mean you have to do a simple pattern. You can use 1 stamp twice in a row, and another stamp just once, and another stamp 3 times. So let's start. I'm on page 17. I'm going to be using 4 of these stamps. I'm going to use a pumpkin, a wagon, helicopters, and penguins. So this is not a themed pattern, like my train pattern was, where I used all the train parts. This one's going to be very random, and that's fine. Be creative. Use various pages when you're making your own pattern. Okay, so I'm going to start the pattern with a pumpkin. So we're going to make probably 2 rows so that the student who we're going to give this pattern to will be able to see the pattern in full and be able to solve the blanks. I think I'll do 1 wagon. So it's pumpkin, 1 wagon, 2 helicopters, 3 penguins. That is going to be our entire pattern. And we're just going to repeat it for 2 lines so that the student will get an understanding of the pattern and he'll see it or she'll see it. So again, continuing the correct pattern, it will be a pumpkin, a wagon, 2 helicopters. Now just like previously, we are going to run out of room. So I'm just going to put 1 penguin here because that's all that will fit. But the pattern calls for 3. So I'm going to fit the other 2 starting in the second row. And let's continue the pattern. Pumpkin, wagon, 2 helicopters. We go back to the 3 penguins. We finish the pattern one more time. So let's just finish it up. There we go. Just 1 wagon. I think I'll be only able to fit 2 helicopters. Okay. So in the third row, we're going to make some blanks. So I'm going to put a penguin right here, a blank, and a penguin right here. Another blank, and a wagon. 1 helicopter, a blank, and a blank, and 2 penguins. A pumpkin, a blank, and 1 helicopter. Now to make the lines, remember, go back to draw. We're going to pick the pencil and just the straight line. There's 1 line. Another line. I probably made it tight. There were supposed to be 2 lines here. and one line right here. Good. We just finished a difficult pattern. The pattern is